Yoruba community in Anambra debunks rumors of ethnic conflict. Members of the Yoruba community in Anambra State have clarified that there is no rift or conflict between them and their host, contrary to rumors erroneously circulating and suggesting that there's a rift among the two ethnic groups. The rumors centered especially around the outcome of the 2023 general elections and other factors it generated, where reports had circulated claiming that Yorubas residing in Anambra were attacked for not voting for Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate. But the President General of the Yoruba community in Anambra, Alhaji Ademola Okeleye, dismissed the rumors during a press conference in Awka, the Anambra state capital, on Friday. Okeleye, flanked by the Oba of Yoruba in Awka and other ranking members, also labelled those spreading such divisive rumors as individuals with limited mindset who have nothing constructive to contribute. He said, "We urge all tribes and ethnic groups residing in Anambra to disregard these dangerous rumors by some mischief makers to deliberately cause division. There is no rift between us and our Igbo hosts in the state. We are using this medium to advise individuals or groups fueling tribal or ethnic tensions in Anambra State and Nigeria to desist from such acts or face legal consequences. For emphasis' sake, there is no business or political conflict between the Yorubas and Igbos in Anambra State. The Yoruba community has been peacefully coexisting with the Igbos, and our members have not experienced any form of intimidation or harassment. Most of us have resided in Anambra State for the past 20 years since relocating from Lagos, and we have never witnessed or experienced any Yoruba-Igbo conflict fueled by hatred." While reacting to the insinuation that Yorubas don't invest in the southeast, the Oba of Yoruba in Awka, Alhaji Rasaki Olahon, said Yoruba professionals are doing very well across different fields, including commercial, economy, and educational sectors across the region. Olahon called on all governments at all levels to start making policies and deliberate efforts aimed towards healing the wounds and tensions caused by the last general elections. That, first of all, is very unwise and very, very fairy tale-like to say, when the wounds and tensions caused by the last general elections was the exact tactic that was intentionally used to get attention, to get votes, and to create division and to provoke citizens. So it's very fairy tale-like. And I think, a very upsetting thing about, because we are Nigerians who live in a very abnormal state. So when we start to provide normal solutions, as in logical, clear-headed solutions to a normal state, we are so far in the abnormal that the normal is just so strange and, quite frankly, unapplicable to us. I mean, you're literally telling individuals who, actively pushed a Muslim ticket, who, create rhetorics, who, use age, who use unemployment, who use religion, who use tribalism. They use all these tactics to create division among the people, and you are the same person telling them to to heal the wounds and tensions. These people that have proven to be selfish and their aims is just to get into office and everything else you forget. That's how they've been moving. And it's like, come on now. Like, are we going to act like as if we're in a perfect society? I think, to be honest, the only way to solve this is just to not engage. But to be honest, it's also the consciousness of the people, right? If we can easily get divided, I mean, come on, it's not to, absolve any responsibility, but there's a reason why we were colonized. Like, look at us right here. Even years after colonialism, when you're divided and you can let something, if you let a hole come in between you and your people. Even look at Lagos State. Go and look at the history of Lagos State and how Lagos State was taken over by the British. It was family war. It was literally the typical uncle versus nephew storyline. The Oba died. The son wants to inherit the throne. The uncle or the brother of the Oba literally said no. And so it's like we are so divisive, and I think our history has shown it because we proved ourselves to be a weak link in if you talk about the world, we prove ourselves to be behind and be weak. And it's so shameful that even to this day, like, let's be honest, okay? Like, if they decided that, let's take over Nigeria again, you think it won't be easy? They just don't have to use guns and, they don't have to use guns and, use weapons and actively use the terrorist type route. They don't have to do that anymore. The people and how we've been beaten and how our mindset have been mentally enslaved and battered and bruised, it's shameful. So I think, as I said, how I personally think we should, analyze news and look at narratives is to have a bird's eye view. We can't hyper focus into one narrative, because if we then look at tribalism, our heads would be stuck in tribalism, the history of Yorubas and Igbos, blah, blah, blah. We have to step out of that. Look at how tribalism has literally aided and, brought us to where we are today, given our political climate and, the outcome of the general election. And also our general state as a unit, as a country, our position in Africa and also in the world. Like, we have to think of these things. We also have to think of how this same tribalism, if we're going to have a bird's eye view, how this tribalism and division has, historically, put us behind, made us vulnerable to higher powers and stronger powers in the world, because our tribalism and division has put us in as a weaker link. And, is the sole reason for why we are weak to this day, how we got colonized, how we got, we're in slavery for 400 years. I mean, the problem that we have is bigger than tribalism, and tribalism and the division is an aspect to it. So that's why it's like, if we really want change, we really need to step out of, burying our heads in one narrative and one storyline. Tribalism, you are fighting me. We are fighting ourselves, and the big fight, the fight is actually against us as Africans. But when are we ready for that conversation? Put what you think about us in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.